All right. So welcome to 11.1, where we're learning about imaginary numbers, unicorns, and fairies and stuff. Okay, so the square root of 1 is equal to 1 because 1 times 1 is equal to 1. Quick commercial break. Square root of 2 can't simplify, but the square root of 4 is equal to 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. The square root of 81, let's just say, is equal to 9. Okay, because 9 times 9 is 81. So that's just a throwback. Okay, quick commercial break. So how is the graph of x squared shifted to produce the graph of f of x? Here's f of x. Looking back or remembering unit 8, which shifts plus 1 without parentheses means that you're moving the graph up 1. So this now, my new intercept goes from 0 to 1, and that's your new graph, okay? So it's shifted up 1 unit is what you need to write in your notes. What can be said about the x-intercepts of the function? So let's just talk about x-intercepts is where it crosses the x-axis. The intercepts here, right, do not cross the x-axis. So does not cross x-axis. All right, forgive my handwriting. So show that x squared plus 1 is equal to 0, and then that the intercepts do not exist, right? You see the intercepts here? It doesn't cross, so it does not exist. And I'll show you why algebraically equals 0. So if I subtract 1 from both sides, minus 1, I'm just going to take this down here, is going to get x squared is equal to negative 1, square root of both sides, right? So you get x is equal to the square root of negative 1, which now we have a new vocabulary, something new to know. The square root of negative 1 is the same thing as I, so this is equal to I. So what is the square root of negative 1 equal to? We just did it, right? It's right here. Square root of negative 1 is I. It's imaginary. So we can break the square root of negative 4 into the square root of 4 times the square root of negative 1. Square root of 4 we did up here is just 2. The square root of negative 1, our new term is I. So that's our final answer. Square root of negative 81 is the same thing as the square root of 81, which we know is 9, times the square root of negative 1, which is I. So the final answer is 9I. All right? So we're going to do some adding, some subtracting, and some multiplying. So reminder, when you are adding, you're combining like terms. So 9 minus 2, or 9 plus negative 2 is 7. You put that right there. Negative 2i and plus a negative 5i is a negative 7i. So final answer is going to be 7 minus 7i. Okay, just want to show you that you can do this on the calculator as well. Turn on calculator. There we go. All right. So you can go parentheses 9 minus 2 second. Right? See above the decimal point, there's an I. So you press that. Then you hit the plus sign, and then you plug in the other one. Negative 2. This is almost too easy that you don't need to plug it into the calculator, but I just want to show you that you could. And you'll still get the same answer, right? 7 minus 7i. Boom. Here, to refresh your memory with subtraction, you do something called keep, change, change. So we're going to keep that 10 plus 6i. We're going to change that subtraction sign to a plus sign. And change means we're going to change every sign in here. So this negative 9 is going to become a plus, and this positive is going to become a negative. So our new expression over here is going to be plus 9, right? And a minus I. So you're going to do the same thing, combine like terms. Let's go 10 plus 9 is 19. 6 minus, there's an imaginary 1 there, is going to be positive 5i. So that's going to be your final answer. And again, you could plug that into the calculator. Okay. Just want to show you this one real quick. This is parentheses, negative 1 plus 3i. Second I again. Close parentheses, open parentheses again. We get negative 7 plus 6 second decimal point. Is how we get the I. So final answer that we're going to get is negative 11 minus 27i. Okay. And I'm going to show you real quick how to get that by hand. You could do either box method here, or you could do FOIL. I'm going to go ahead and start out with FOIL. So negative 1 times negative 7 is 7. Negative 1 times 6i is going to be negative 6i. Over here, positive 3, negative 7 is going to be negative 21i. And I lined them up because they're like terms, so I'm going to have to combine them. And then finally over here, this is where it can get a little tricky. 3i times 6i is 18i squared. I times I is I squared. Okay, so now watch. How can we get this answer right here to look like what we have over here? I'm going to show you something. Okay, so the 7 just comes down. Negative 6, negative 21 is going to be negative 27i. So we have that first part right there. Now watch this. So this is plus 18i squared. Okay, so I squared, let's do a quick commercial break. I squared is the same thing as taking I, which remember is a square root of negative 1, and squaring it. What happens here, right? The square root and the square cancel each other out. So we get I squared is equal to negative 1. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and substitute I squared with negative 1, because that's what it is, okay? So now we're just going to go ahead and simplify this expression. 18 times negative 1 is negative 18. The 7 comes down, it's negative 27i, okay? We're going to combine like terms. The 7 minus 18 is going to give us, boom, negative 11. And then the negative 27i is going to come down. So same answer from the calculator that we can get by hand. Okay, that's it. Good job.